it's running correctly. All right. Good. Okay, so today we are going to work a little bit on this base. So let me make sure it's a little better. It's dried, so we've got a nice texture here, and now I'm just gonna clean it up. It's just some wet blending here. Effectively, we're gonna tidy up the little areas that don't have coverage. We're gonna bring in a little dry brushing and a few more colors. Right now we got a dark, kind of muted brown tone, and then some yellow. I think that'll hold pretty nicely. Okay. So I think to coincide with what we have here, we're just going to take that darker tone. We're just going to find a home for it here, tidy up those. Here a boot's going to go, so this won't really be too much concern, but I'm just going to clean them up. Anywhere we even suspect some of that texture. This is just Vallejo ground textures. It's a nice little piece here, but I like it because it dries solidly. You can actually, in the past, I've used it while wet to, like if I wasn't doing a nicer piece, you just use it to glue the model down, just stick them right into it. Anyhow, we'll allow that to dry, and I believe, let me double check what I have here on my desk. I just want something that's like a nice muted green. I think this Crixbane base, there it is. I think this will do a nice job here. Let me just get a little bit of this. Mix this up a little bit here. Add a little bit of water. Make a nice wash. Maybe a little bit more. Like a little bit of flow to this. Let's see. Just a little bit here to. Alright, make sure they have the autofocus off here. We can maybe allow a little bit of this to mix in here. Oh, that's pretty good. While we're letting that dry just a little bit, start to clear off my palette. Stickers here. Just prepping a piece of, or prepping a little dry brush action on a piece of paper towel. We got Snick rolling in here. How are you? How have things been for you, Snick? Hopefully well. Ah, I am well. I'm glad you're holding up. But yeah, I think that's a nice tonal shift we have going on here. It's very diluted what I just dropped on there, so it should just flow into those recesses and make this nice dynamic looking ick that our hero will be standing on. I don't know, it might be a weirder opinion, but I think in a lot of cases the base, it's a good thing if it's uninteresting, you know? I just grabbed a little bit of black. We'll be applying it in here as well. desaturate some of these areas. I think that works out. I think that actually requires a little bit of opaque paint. I've been using these washes in sequence. Just kind of putting them in where it seems to make sense. Just to check around these ledges. Again, under here, they're never going to see because it's where the shoe is going to be, but we want to make sure. Snick asks, you stream with DSLR? It's a mirrorless, but yes. Yeah, I like those colors. I think that's a nice. Why is it pretty thin? It's currently at 4. I think 8 is probably best, but I'm not certain. It's a newer setup for me, so I'm still learning the settings. You say you would say 32 is probably the right f-stop? Yeah, I'd need roughly a terawatt bulb. We're just gonna let that dry a little bit. Let me see if I can I see what you're saying. But on the plus side, I really enjoy the way, excuse me, the bass is coming together. Let's have a look. Mm-hmm. 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 160. I see what you're saying. Hang on. I believe this camera uses dual ISO. I think it's 160 and then also 800. Just edging off the base here. Using the side of the brush. Rogami, good morning. How are you today? Glad to have you on the lurk. going all right, you suppose. So, Snick, I need to figure out how to adjust. Well, I need probably just a whole mess load more light, huh? You haven't slept but can't work on things at the moment. What's going on, Bergami? You got something come up, or? We're gonna get this sorted out. So we got F8, which I think is as large a depth as I can go with my current lighting setup. We would need a much brighter light to go bolder than that. I just have to figure out. It is a new camera. So let's check out how I can get into the ISO. I'm a Nikon user. Even then, I'm limited with my camera experience. But the only thing I have experience with is Nikon, and this is a Sony. You're saying 1600. I'm pretty sure I know where this is at, though. So now it says 1 by 125. Oop, at f8. Look at that, Snick. I think it's coming out a little bit better. Brogami says, just hands not feeling right for small, tedious things. Ugh. I set it to 1600. $6,000, you say? Go more. What says 6,400 is my option? 600. Sorry, English is bad. Here. So that's ISO 600, 160, and f8. We got Primus Miniature Paint. Says morning nomadic or afternoon, evening where you are. Well, it is very early morning. It's 5:57. We are letting this base dry a little bit as I've made adjustments, and we're working on some camera stuff. I think after speaking with Snick a little bit, we're gonna need a bigger light. Pixie, morning mate. Good morning back at you. How are you doing? On the plus side, got some coffee here. Pixie says chocolate cookie look-alike. Yeah, it's a little spooky. I'll give you that. Let's give this a check. Psh. Ew. Nobody wants a chocolate cookie like this. This is no good kind of cookie. Snick says, yes, it's a very good camera. Thank you, Snick. It was not an inexpensive camera, I'll tell you that. But it is a 85 millimeter Zeiss. And I have a... This Snick, you will not, you'll probably laugh at. So I have the 85, and I was not happy with the, the lack of macro kind of effect I was getting. And so I slapped this on the end of it to kind of add a little macro effect. Very inexpensive piece on the front of a very nice lens. The lens I've borrowed from a friend. Shout out to my buddy Matt, if he's out there. Right now we're just working on some basing. After speaking with DJ Delete, we're going to be getting his Torgaradon sent out here. USPS style. Hopefully things will be able to be shipped today. A little bit of varnish on this chocolate chip cookie, so to speak. This is just some matte varnish, and then we'll come back and show it some love with a little bit of gloss varnish. Actually, we're gonna be using that gloss varnish to add a little shine, but where we want it. We're gonna control that function. Here, I'm just gonna clean up some of this pooling. We have Snick, legit professional, in here helping out with the camera settings. Primus asks, what is the base for? Well, none other than a previous giveaway piece, Torgaradon here. Let's just back this out. Scooch. It's a technical measure. One scooch. Yeah. Nice. Nice. That's right. Well, After some deliberation, yes, he will be going out. Hopefully today. Definitely today or tomorrow. The only hang up I have is the box. I got to make sure he goes safely. You know. Well, there's the high gloss. We can start. We set him aside here. Bring us back into the frame for everyone. He's one of my favorite models I've ever painted. I really enjoyed painting the yellow on tour, doing the battle damage. Really, I think I pushed myself quite a bit on that model. Primus Miniature Painting says, one scooch. It's a forget metric. Scooches all the way. Yes, it is an imperial measure for just a little more. Just a scooch. Alright. Get this high gloss. Actually, what I might do... I don't think it'll help too much. I was thinking about hitting it with a little air from the airbrush, but I think all that's going to do is blow things around. And I don't think I'm about that. In the short term, however, we could make some progress on some other pieces we have sitting on the desk. So, for those that haven't been with us all week, we have been working on Clan Wolf's commission piece. We are about done with him. I gotta be honest, I think we're in a pretty good spot with many of his features. He doesn't look as good on the photographs as he does in person, and here's why. Because of his true metallic nature. Like, when you look at how his armor shines here, it's because it can catch light from all directions, and he kind of lights up like a little tree. But he really, really looks nice under terrible lighting. And that was my biggest drive here. Because he's a gaming piece, true metallics just look better in bad light. You know, those non-metallic effects look, you know, you can stage the shot, you can push the camera from the right angle. They're like an Instagram photo, so to speak. Primus says, has Tor got to be sent outside? No, he's staying in the U.S., so we don't have to go that too far. But yeah, so we went true metallics so that he can pick up that nice shine. We got the blue. He's much more blue from the bottom. He's got a little bit more green from the top. And that little effect, that little trick there, was without a doubt one of the more interesting effects I've ever done. I thought that was so cool. Because they don't make metallics that do this. So I had to paint him 2 different tones of silver metal, and then start covering him with clear coats of blue and green, and filter him off. And then per Clan Wolf's chapter for his Alpha Legion, we've got the singular black shoulder and red arm. Power weapon to come. Oh yeah? That's pretty cool. I guess legit, that's what's up. So we've got him, we're wrapping up. We have a project for AMP services that we've got underway here. This is what I should work on. Lock him up in a hurry because it needs to get done. Something that I didn't notice until recently, when I got done airbrushing the cloak, we have this little pulling action here, and it wasn't my doing, it was my not noticing that there's some funk here. A couple things that needed to get sanded, and so I think maybe that's something to start on here. Sadly, I'm going to have to commit to either redoing the entire cloak Or maybe we'll just do something, some fancy freehand here at the bottom. That could work nicely as well. Primus Miniature Painting says, I use 3 Vallejo metal color silver, then Badger Minotaur Ghost Tint Green. That would certainly do the job. I cannot for the life of me remember what I didn't like about the ghost tints that turned me off of them. Because I didn't go that direction. I used the Tamiya Clears. I found a Reddit thread where they talked, the person that did develop that studio scheme for the Alpha Legion answered a question about how they got that effect, and the Tamiyas are how they did it. That's right. Because I'm a big Badger fan. I was sitting here thinking, like, why didn't I even consider the ghost tints? And it was because I found that. Okay, so we have our little broski right here, and we're gonna see what we can't do to tidy up this this little chunk. Yeah, I was sitting here having a moment. Now I don't know what we're gonna do for that. Are we married to the white? Like, should or could I be working in a different color? Don't know. Mikey RR says Dark Angels Angel of the Blood showing up asking the real questions. This is a fallen angel. Fallen detected. That's correct. He's pretty dark, huh? So the question is, do we stick with the white robe? Try to fix this. We're talking about these two little spots here. We got Glass Joe 336 says orc or nothing. Warg! You know what I love about the orcs is they're all about positivity. They're like mental coaches. They're out there, see, believe, achieve. If I want this to happen, I will make it so. I am the product of my intentions. See, that's what I'm thinking, Mikey. Maybe we'll throw this whole thing on its head, and I'll work up a nice reddish purple blend. That could look good. But I've been working those robes a lot lately. But that might be nice, you know, seeing as this for Justin over at AMP Services, and you know, I've done that blend a lot, so it's like on one hand I'd like to do something new for the guy, but on the other hand, it does look good though. Mikey says same red as on the fist. I do like that red. I do have, oh no, those have gotten delivered to the client. I was gonna say I did those snipers, and their cloaks were a little bit different, but also very good. Yeah, we could do a nice red. I think we could. Let me just get some of this good paint out here. This is just a nice purpley red, one of my favorite purpley reds, Sanguine Base from Privateer Press. I'll put that out here. And What would make a nice complement to that? Oh, Glass Joe with the follow. Thank you so much. All right, so Angel of the Blood coming in here. So lore-wise, the Fallen have black armor and cream robes with red trim. Like I said, didn't print the red robes. Yes, Glass Joe, that's a P3 bottle. Primus says, do you have a very fine sanding stick I use when I get hard on? Yeah, after painting. I think that's what we're going to do before we start applying the paint. So we'll do a little sanding. I do have some sanding sticks. Mikey says, yeah, same red as a fist guy. Angel says, all the Dark Angels are fallen. It was a trick question. Oh, there it is. Are you going with green or black armor? We're going to go with the black armor. I did a little test piece. Oh, you can't see we did a test piece because it's fallen off. That's going to be our black armor. Ka-chow! I just popped this off so we can get in there with our little file. That one's a little coarse. Let's find something a little less coarse. Mikey says, at Angel of the Blood, I've not read all the novels. Which one is it in? Literally, Fallen Angels, the book. It's like actually just the one that has the right name. Yeah, that's why I went with the white robe initially. You know, maybe we'll try to freehand like something on the bottom here, and hopefully it doesn't go too poorly. But let me try to find something that isn't quite so coarse. I think we're better now. Let me... Let's see if we can't detect this area here with a little bit of paint. Perhaps we'll just grab this whole lower region. Just going to base it in this color here, and we'll see if we can't maintain the weight the whole way across. Okay. To do the white build up on this, let me just catch up with chat here, Primus, to get you a good answer. These two are running off on some stuff I'm not familiar with, so I want to catch up with the lore. I'm not going to read all that out loud, but well, that's legit. Mikey says, I've got Cypher. I've not yet done his robes. Okay. Didn't answer the question I needed to answer. Oh, the book didn't. Okay. Yeah, so my build up here is actually Privateer Press's Crixbane base into Crixbane highlight, and then finally I used Citadel's Ulthen Gray. Let me bring that over here. Ulthen Gray is a nice neutral gray. Let's see if we can increase the ISO a little bit more, if that doesn't help. Hopefully we're not getting any. Getting a little bit of water here because paint's drying in the brush. All right, let's continue this along the smooth side here. I've used the build-up for white on a handful of occasions. I'm just going to increase this line weight. Let that dry, and then we'll come back and hit it with a little bit more. Chemical Fencer comes in, says the Angel of the Blood. I agree. They are more of a backstory, but that's what I like about them. Mikey RR says it was all a big misunderstanding. Yeah. You can see that Crixbane base down underneath. Okay. I'm just gonna there we go. And then we can start to do a little bit of a little something extra with that. Yeah, I don't know. Exactly what we could do. Does anybody have any trim options that might look nice on a piece like this? Any kind of design I could start to try to bring out. Because you can fill books with what I don't know about their lore. It could just be muddy. We could speckle that, but I've got some trim coming in here. And so maybe this will just be some red. How about that? We'll do this little trim piece in red. Perhaps I could also line the inside of this in red. And then we could speckle them with some mud. Primus says that pneumatic, I like to keep them simple with little triangles along the trim. Let's use a different brush. Angel of the Blood says, as I'm not in the universe, I feel the readers should know the secret. Yeah, they withholding on you. Alright, let's see if we can't commence some little triangles here. Ink says, ooh, you're painting the Dark Angel. Yeah, trying to get some of this stuff done. Not happy with that line. Let me just hit that line one more time. Try to improve on the weight of it, perhaps. Chemical Fencer says, gonna just be muddy, sorry. Making sure I didn't miss anything. Good morning for you, I guess, yeah. Angel of the Blood says, if you think about it, we as readers know huge, terrible secrets that not a lot know in the 40k universe, so why can't we know the secrets are buried in the rock? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just see if I can get this design to complete, and then we'll worry about strengthening up the weight of these. That line is terribly hard to read. You guys are running on here. Whole line of Chaos Marines. Oh, that's true. Mikey says, I'm choosing a Legion to build. We're doing a ZM Escalation League, but without games, obviously. I need to rethink my choice. Someone else chose Iron Warriors. Ink says, you were mistaken, Angel of the Blood. Fallen angels are chaos worshippers. Uh-oh. Ty Grainer says, I kind of want to try my hand at painting minis for fun, but I don't have a whole lot of room in my tiny house. Okay. Well, you don't need every model under the sun. And think, the miniatures. They take up a miniature amount of space, right? Anybody in here will contest that, right? Pretty sure. So if I'm gonna do triangle design, should I do part of them in like a filigree? Like some of these could be gold, maybe? We got some people in here that know the lore. Now's a great time to ask. What should we alternate? I'll just start filling in half of these. Ty Grainer says my house is literally 14 by 22. That is a tiny house. You living in a shipping container? Not there's anything wrong with that. That's pretty cool. Tigrina says that pneumatic, well, a converted shed, but yes. So what do we think? Should we do, like I said, something true metallic as like a filigree down here, or should we be working in just another muted tone? To go alongside these nice little triangular bites. God, they are muted. We'll brighten that up soon. Angel of the Blood says my paints and models fit in a 5 by 10 foot area, and I have a lot of both. All right, nobody has any preference. I will just move on to the other side, and then we'll commit to what the opposing triangles look like. Yeah, let's get this boat in the water. Mikey says, remember, there is no cannon. This is 40K. Oh. Let's see here. The first one always gives me the most anxiety. Kind of sets the whole tone though, right? Make sure we finish that line. Drawback to a tiny brush. Paint dries on it. There we go. I'm just going to move quickly now. I will catch up with Chad here in a second. I just... We'll fix that line up on the other side. Grab a size 1 brush now, something quite a bit larger. Can hold quite a volume of paint. And then what we do on the top parts, Just going to catch up with this chat right quick. Inks asks how I am. We'll get to that in just a second, Inks. I am well, though. I'm holding up all right. Yeah, Inks, I enjoy this conversation you all have going. I like learning more of the stories. And since I have a limited exposure to it, it's nice that you're all in here and willing to share. I really should pick up some of the books. Try to it's so dark. Let's wheel back. Something here. We'll just come up just a hair short, huh? Does that help? Ah, you've seen it on the other one. Don't mind this keyboard here. Cypher's one of the characters that like everybody knows. He's such a force to be reckoned with. Now, what would be a good color to complement this? Should we go blue? What colors would make sense? We're in here talking about all this lore. What fits the build? Does it need to be another shade of red, or I'm gonna do a brown, and then we can always change it. We'll use this as an excuse to tidy up some of these. That dried on the brush roughly immediately, huh? Here I'm going to use my opportunity to, as I'm coming through and dealing with this other shape, we'll take this as our chance to tidy up any wonky lines on the other side. Angel of the Blood says, owned a comic shop for 5 years before having kids. That's pretty cool. Big comic shop fan. I know Inks is a big DC. I know these two colors are going to meld together, but we'll get them sorted out. Almost went down. Oh no. Fussing with things here. As we work on that and I catch up with Chad, I'm going to bring in the let's get rid of that light for right now. Here's the progress on our base. Crafty Sloth is now hosting the stream. Well, thank you so much for the host. Check my settings here. We're back and forth with this camera. Yeah. Oh, good God. Too many sprues with the host. Thank you so much. All right. We're back at it. That's a nice base we were working on earlier. Now that we have the varnish is a bit dry, we ought to be able to start with. We'll let that freehand sit there so we can think about what it's going to be. Let's just. There we are. Everybody can see. Catching up with chat real quick. Spruce coming in, shouting out to Jade. We got Taro. Hellos, welcome on in. I've been a little unattentive as I'm back and forth with a new camera. And everybody's been chatting about different lore pieces, and I didn't want to interrupt on that either. So, welcome on in. We are working on a couple projects today. One of them is going to be this nice base. We just got done doing some matte varnish, and here we're going to come in with some super high gloss. I'm going to use this as a way to accentuate some of these recesses. Uh-oh. So down here in these pooled up areas, we just selectively make it look a little damp, you know. Chemical Fencer says, quick white paint method question. P3 Crix base, P3 Crix highlight, GW light gray. Right, that is exactly what I used. And it's not, that's not like it's something that you have to use in that way. Whenever you're painting white as a material, it needs to be mostly gray. And so you can either skew blue or skew green. That's your preference. And they both work very well, and they provide different results. But as long as you have that in the back of your mind, it'll speed up your process there. You'll get those good results much quicker. So again, this is just ultra high gloss down here in the recesses, and when we contrast that with what we already put down here, which is a very matted varnish, we will get that nice satin versus matte result. So these lower areas will truly look much deeper and wetter. So put a little bit of that around his boot, make it look like he's perhaps sloshing some of this around. You don't need it to be everywhere, but a few spots. That would be nice and dynamic. Too Many Spruce says, yeah, that's quite a lot. What I miss? Oh, Too Many Spruce asked Angel the Blood. I am the brain, or bane. I'm the bane of hobbyists. I am your backlog, an unkillable being. Oh no. Yeah, you are the mountain of shame. Tedious Tau Hoppin' says, hello, gonna be lurking. Well, we're glad to have you in. Hopefully you're doing well, Tedious. What do we think? Just a few little spots to add some intrigue. Actually, there's truthfully quite a lot of them. But, yeah, now we can let that dry. Has anybody been working on any fun projects lately? Has anything fun going on in the hobbying world? I do like to live vicariously through everyone, so it's just me being selfish and trying to check out your awesome works. Angel says, cool white or warm white? With that, it's that's actually the white that we have here. Is that nice build up. Ink says to Nomadic, I'm waiting for my shoulder to get fully healed before back to hobbying. Inks, I wasn't aware you had a shoulder thing going on. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm gonna get some glue here. Alright, where's the glue? Ty Grainer says, I think I linked my Warhammer 40k fan art last time. I haven't made progress on it since. Well, Ty, you absolutely did, and I enjoyed it greatly, but I don't know that everybody in here was here that day, so if you want to link it up, Ty makes some pretty interesting art, 2D stuff, and some of it lately has been Games Workshop related. Let's get this arm back on here. How do we like the arm? Like so. Tedious Tau hitting the lurk, entering the void, so to speak. Just letting this glue dry. Just a little bit. Yeah, I think this base is looking pretty good. I think it's a suitable the fan art in question. And all this wet area will dry super shiny, so that's pretty cool. Let me just now the question of the hour, what are we going to do about this gent? Truthfully, I think we need to start mixing up some better red. Let's have a peek here. Timmy Spruce says, I'm currently tidying up the first logo, as trying something that small on stream was hard. Trying up the first logo. If you want to link that, I'm not sure what you were working on there, Spruce. Ink says to Nomadic, yes, I hurt my shoulder a few weeks ago, and that's why I haven't been on much or done part as it hurts. It's still not 100% getting there. I hurt my shoulders before all the quarantines and everything happened. Grappling with some people, and they are only just now starting to get to the point where I can lay down comfortably on my right side. It's like probably in my spine actually that I hurt myself, because like certain things in certain directions would work for me but others would not. It was a terrible time, and it's still not great, but those injuries, they take time, and it's not always ideal. Okay. See, that's still pretty darn dark. Maybe we can just go straight to it. I mean, it's starting to brighten up a little bit, huh? Let's see. Just a little bit. Let's give it another coat while we're chatting. Red is definitely one of those colors that just likes to have some attention paid to it. See, that's already looking much brighter. But I don't think it needs to be mixed in with the previous coat. So let me grab that. Let's just set some pure red down. Let's see how wrong I am about this. Yep, freehand. Let me get a look at that. There we go. I do love that you're working on those ultramarines. Too many sprues. Oh, I'm seeing it on the shoulder. Yeah, I was watching while you were working on that. I had to hop out. I had you on in the back while I was working, and I had to hop off to deal with some work stuff, and I still had you on in the background, and you were just gone. I was like, oh, what happened? And then I saw your post up in the Discord. I think I like this much better. Mikey, what happened? Did we miss Mikey? Says get well soon to Inks. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Mikey. I think we can all agree with that sentiment there. Inks, hugs to Sprues, hugs to everyone. Inks, I'm glad you stopped in today. I hope your shoulder is you're getting some relief from it, but that's the hardest part with stuff like that is like sleeping. It messes with your rest, and then that's what you need to get better. You know, if you're not getting rest, then it's not going to heal right. That's not bad. We're just gonna pretend like that next part was getting started right there. Too many spruces. Yeah, thanks for joining the stream, man. Everyone in there was doing either video chat or watching Netflix, and everything just went. Oh, everyone in the house. That's tough. Seems like that's the nature of it right now, with everybody being home. Tigrander says, "What's the most useful size round brush for you?" So I have two sizes that I tend towards the most. I use size 6, 7, 8. Garbage, synthetic, just
beat around brushes for most of the painting. So as far as use, get yourself some bulk low-end brushes and beat them up. So that for most. But then when you start looking for things below size 3, I use size 3 a lot. I use size 2 a lot. So let's get on the... And then, of course, the size 1. So between these 3 types of brush, I get a lot of work out of them. Now here's the reality. These two are Winsor & Newton, and these are this one here is a Raphael on the end. And when you look at the size, I mean, this is a size 1 Raphael that is really well used. Like we've done a lot of work. You can see the tip on it is not quite perfect, but well maintained. And then here on the size 2 Winsor & Newton, a size 2 brush that ends in a needle point, right? Yeah, these ones are the finest sable out of England. They are not an inexpensive solution. They're fantastic. I gotta be honest with you, you will find mixed reviews on the Series 7's quality control, this and that. Here, straight up, just buy it at a legitimate art supply store. Don't get them on discount at Amazon. You're gonna be fine. I've had every time I see somebody post, "Oh, I got a failure out of a Winsor & Newton." Okay, these are handmade. They're definitely quality controlled. Just don't buy a seconds off of some miscellaneous Amazon retailer. You'll be okay. But here's the value. The brush has a couple of features to it. The length of the bristle, the thickness of the belly of the bristle, which is this area right in here, and then the fineness of the point. And when you look at the Winsor & Newtons, they do have a miniature kind. I don't use the miniature kind. I just stick with the full size. You can fit so much paint in here and still get... How fine is that point, you know? Don't worry about my dirty finger, I'm sorry. You see. Tactical Booty, good morning. And so when we, for example, let's have a look at a 00. Here comes in a 00. This is another Winsor & Newton. So when we bring them in, now we have a shorter bristle, but the point, the fineness of that tip, not a whole lot of difference. The difference is you're going to have a lot more control because you won't have as much paint, but that benefit is also a negative, if that makes sense. You can see there's paint in the bristles here, and they need cleaned. And earlier I made a comment like, "Oh, and well maintained," but the reality is I don't necessarily maintain my brushes very well. It is not something that I advocate. I think you should take good care of your brushes. Don't be like me. Tigrina says, "What brush are you in need of right now?" The ones I just showed you, the size 3, the size 2, the size 1, even though I take care of them, I still wear them out. If you look at some professional painters that go through and do, they're painting 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You'll look at their nice brushes and you'll see that they'll gnaw them down. They stop holding this point. Even as you maintain them, they don't snap back to this. So I wear out my size 2s the most. This is the brush I go through the most often. It is the one I also pick up the most. Develop? Come on now. Getting flagged for name change. That's this guy. Or gal. Welcome on in. Make sure I didn't miss anything as I was chatting. Ty Grainer, Mikey says I use mostly my size 3 and size 1. Yeah, absolutely. The size 3 I use because I paint a lot of busts. The size 3 just becomes my size 2 for the larger scale models. But my size 2 is my go-to. If I was to say this is the quintessential let's get rolling set, buy yourself a cheap 2-3 size 6 to size 8 brushes, whatever you're comfortable with. Probably start with a size 6, and then get yourself a nice size 2 and size 1 sable brush. I would recommend getting one each of a Raphael and a Winsor Newton, the Series 7, because they're both so good, but they are different. They have different properties. The Raphael is not quite as thick in the belly as the Winsor Newtons, but if it's possible, they might have like a sharper point. And the bristle, like the sable that they use, is a little different. So they call it the snap, or the spring to the brush is just a little bit different. They're both very, very good. I would get one of each. Find out which one you prefer. That's all. Mostly just chatting, to be honest, Angel. And our base is starting to dry, and so we're starting to see the puddles take effect. And then with the ultra matte up top, you can see we've got like what looks to be some dry, crunchy earth. So you get that nice little effect there. Which is also something. And so there we have Torgairdon, the murder machine himself. Basing done. And here's another thing that I have. These are Russian. These are Rooflofts. Roufloft. Roofloft. Or Rubloft. I don't know if that's a B or what is it. But they are super fine tipped. This is actually a size 1 by their standards. That's another thing you'll find. The sizes from different... There's no standard. A company will simply sell you, this is our size 1, our size 2, but there's no, like I say, there's no standard as to what it needs to be. So this is a size 1 of this Roofloft, or Rubloft. I don't know how they pronounce it. Super fine. It's actually for fingernail art. So I use it for my dark lining, pin washing, things like that. Anytime we need absolute control, except no substitute. Not likely ethically sourced. I'll tell you that. Mikey says, I'd say the rafts are far fatter in the middle than the Series 7s. It's just not true. Is it? Am I mistaken? My raft's looking pretty thick. I'm on board with Mikey now. I misspoke. The Raphaels are little thick boys. Like me. Yeah, throw out that second C there, Gregersman. Good morning. Too many spruce flooded the old wet palette. How did you manage this? Okay. Database says, oof, too true. What do we got here? I saw that over 60. Ooh, over 60 this morning. I see that you have seen this. Oh yeah, your additional diorama post. I caught that first thing. And unlike Monday morning, I actually liked it when I saw it, as opposed to like just scrolling through absent-mindedly at 5 a.m. and trying to come to life. Like, I was definitely sleeping on Monday. Which is weird because I got more sleep Monday night than I have today. I did last night, I should say. I guess some days are just rougher than others. Chemical Fencer says, would a larger brush help with paint drying up when working in air-conditioned room? Yes. The larger brushes, the thicker bellies, the more paint they'll hold, and the more paint, the longer your working time is with the brush. It is a general rule, in my experience, and I don't believe this is unique to me, but people will say the right tool for the job is generally the largest brush that you can manage the work with. And so for me, I try to get used to working with larger brushes in that respect. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention here, but I just jacked up this thick triangle here. So I'm going to come back with our other color, and we'll just shape them up. You see. Much, much better. Angel of the Blood says, I do 90% of my painting with a Games Workshop wash brush. I do not know that I would recommend somebody that is going to purchase Citadel brushes. They are fine brushes, but they are very expensive, and I think you get a greater quality out of actual art brushes. Now, if you have a Citadel brush, I'm not dogging them. I just... Well, if you've paid for a Citadel brush, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, I will say this. The only Citadel product, as far as hobby equipment goes, if in doubt, shake it like a corgi. There you go, Mikey. The only... appropriately priced item that they sell is the grip, that little $9 painting handle. There we have it. Here's another example of a wonky one. We'll fix that very shortly here. Tigrander says, okay, I came in here already tired. I'm sure my comments have been unfiltered by my tired brain. I apologize to chat. You've been fine, but you've got a brush coming to you. I gotta get to sleep. You got me a brush? Tigrainer. Well, we have here. Mikey says, my neighbor seems to be collecting Audi estate cars. That's out of control. Everybody says, waiting for this mess. Staying at home is over. I want to order Dark Elves from Games Workshop. They have a great purple color, absolutely. I love deep purple, Smoke on the Water, Highway Star, etc. Oh yeah. I'm going to reread what Ty Grainer had to say here. Well, thank you so much, Ty. And hopefully you get some rest. You will unveil such a gift lives. Love the 70s rock. Over 60, have you seen the purple that I'm working up for Motor City Race Commission? Working on Drycha. Truthfully, this is what I'm attempting to do right now, is get these other commissions off my desk so we can get the ball rolling on her. I'm excited for these Talons. Yeah, if you were digging on the purple's one of my favorite colors. It might be my favorite color. The problem is I also like I like green, but I have a complicated painting relationship with green. Green and I, it's like we're compatible, but all we do is fight. If that makes sense. It's 60 says, I live the 70s music. There you go. Tactical says, don't lie, you love purple. I do. Purple's my Miss Jones. Because we definitely have a thing going on. Okay. And this is that step that helps out with my wonky freehand, is that you can come back through as long as your complementary color here, your complementary design, I suppose, is a darker tone. You just come through and clean it up. Angel of the Blood says, purple's my favorite color to paint. Screw orange, though. Orange is complicated, huh? Gregersman says, it's funny, I have a complicated relationship with every color. There you go. Over 60 saying, Zepp, Floyd, Steppenwolf. There you go. I had a job for a while. It was like a contracting spot. I would go occasionally on the weekends. It was nice supplemental income kind of thing. And I did some tech work for a company that does art auctions. And my whole job, effectively what they paid me to do, was they would fly me to an art gallery that was having an auction. And I would set up bidding kiosks, and they were just iPads that got mounted around the studio. And people would come in, and they would, for charity or for fundraisers or whatever they were doing, they would get set up with a code, which is effectively, think about eBay. You would see a piece of art and think, oh, I want to donate to this cause by buying this piece here. Like, oh, I'm gonna buy this Alpha Legion piece, right? But like, I don't know how much I would pay for him. I don't know what he's gonna go for. He's starting at like, say, $50, and then they but you might think, but I could pay. I think he's worth $140 or something, right? So they put down whatever their bid is. So like, I would pay up to $140. So you put in your max bid, and just like eBay, that's how it would go. And so I got to go these places and set up the iPads around the area, and then maintain a secure network while the auctions happen. That's the boring part. The good part, I did one in San Antonio. Awesome, beautiful outdoor venue, gorgeous. I took some pictures, but I was out there like Friday night. We set up, or Friday day, scout the area, set everything up Saturday morning. Saturday night, the event goes off. But beforehand, I got to go around. I found a nice consignment and old school like antique shop, and in the upstairs of it was an old vinyl collection kind of place. And I found just a beautiful copy of Zeppelin 4 and Exiles on Main Street. I'm a big Stones fan, and the guy was like, oh, I just got another set of that in if you want to have a look. And we ended up chatting about this, that, and the other thing, and connected. He cut me like a killer deal, and I was able to leave the shop with both of those albums. The jacket's in great shape, super playable. For under $50, it was quite the value, I think. The XLs on Main Street still had the silly little like postcards in it. Chemical Fencer says, I'll be painting an orange pumpkin later today. I got to practice asset drop. A little pumpkin action. There you go. Over 60 says, all of them or anything metal. Oh, wait a second. Mikey says, how about Rush? Yes, Genesis, or more prog stuff. Who's singing in Genesis if you're listening, out of curiosity, Mikey? Over 60 says, I love me some Rush. Mikey says, I started on Metallica. The Black Album landed when I was 12, but quickly moved to Maiden. I think Maiden in general for me is better. No disrespect to Metallica. I know it's complicated, but... Over 6 says, best drummer of all time, sad about his passing. Yeah. I don't know if he was the best drummer of all time, but he was definitely one of the most talented mainstream drummers. I mean, Neil was incredible. Very, very talented guy. Over 60 says, I had 5 rows, 2 feet deep of vinyl records. Dang. Muggy says, thrash doesn't have so much depth as classic hard rock. Well, you know, back in the beginning, actually, I would say that this is true in terms of the origins of any genre. You had to be technically precise to get anywhere. There's very, very few instances where that isn't the case. Thinking about the Ramones right now. Too Many Spruce says, right, I'm calling that freehand done for the moment. Hey, share it up if you like. We're over here fighting these wonky lines. I don't freehand too often, so I think this would be a nice sort of surprise for AMP. Keep it. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I'll share it up on Instagram maybe. See if we can't ruin this whole thing, huh? All right. We're close. We are close. That one's a little rough. Too many sprues. Give me a moment. We'll get to that. little frame action. Alright, Toomey Spruce says the only downside with the freehand is that while doing it, I rubbed some paint off the chest. I think you linked the channel. I don't know if I can. Oh, wait a second. I'll just open up the bits box here. Oh, there you go. You linked it into mine. I like the way that's coming out. Get that fist together. I wish I had more freehand experience. I was never much of like a sketching or doodling kind of person, and so my efforts are limited. This has been fun to play around with, and I think this is coming out all right, but it's like you think back on like all the time you wasted not getting good at something. That's a bit how I feel about my freehanding. It's like you could have been doodling for whole life. A little wonk over here, huh? Something's off. Downside with the freehand, yeah. Tactical says, I just mean in general, I've somehow become even more lazy than normal. Wait a second. I need to get off my butt, clean my painting area. Well, do it. What's holding you back here, Tactical? Tactical booty. It's this face. This is the face I'm making right now. What's the hold up? It's my experience. I'm just winging it. There you go. Everybody should wing it. Tactical, you see this face? See this I'm making? It's for you. I'll make you feel guilty. Oh no. Oh no. I think these came out super crisp, to be honest. Are you going to do it, Tag? Are you going to set up your stuff? You can do it. If you can do it, I'll give you one of these. $7.27. All right. Well, thank you, Tactical. I actually yesterday I posted them up and already sold one. So one of my little faces is on their way off to, well, today they will be going off to Utah. And that's what's up. I think they'll make a fine adornment to somebody's wet palette or hobby case. Try to bring this nice vibrant trim in to focus here. I'm also nervous that I'm gonna clip the white robe, and that would really bum me out, you know. But it is 7:30. If you're not familiar with what that means. It means it's about that time. Let's trim out this other side, and then this other one seems to be like a metallic edging on it. Perhaps. Maybe I'll just leave it at that. Sorry if I'm off cam a little bit here. I'm trying to saturate this little itty bitty spot down here without. You see this angle we're threading. Oh, don't worry. I'm just gonna overpaint anyway. No big deal. Try to tidy that up. Yeah. Is what it is at this point, huh? Yeah, today we did a little freehand action. Still a little wonky on some of these. We'll just be tidying them up. Thank you, Sprues. Let's see here. Like this guy. I think this is the ticket with the freehand, is just like you get it down. Yeah, it'll be a little rough, no big deal. And then you just come back with your other color and sharpen your shapes. And that little effort, it's going to make your design so much more readable. This one a little bit larger. That's also an issue I'm running into here. let's just try to extend this shape here. One of the benefits of the repeating designs are you have the room to adjust them, but it's also probably the biggest issue with a repeating design is if one of them is even a little bit off, and it's going to read, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. That was possibly just way too much. No, maybe not, maybe not. I think it's much better. Spruce says, I've almost finished these scouts. Not sure what I should paint next. Oh, from the sounds of things, you've got more bits than you know what to do with. You'll be fine. There we go. Those teeth are starting to look fairly uniform now, huh? Get rid of that. Like, for sure get rid of that. A lot of terrible effort for this morning. Ooh, and got a nice base for the homie tour. We just got to snip down his little spikes. DJ Delete says looking great, Nomadic. Oh yeah. Somewhat soft, wet, and dry all at the same time. Look out! Get that other clip bent. I'm going to grab some little needle-nosed pliers and make sure we get a nice, fine, crisp little bend on it. DJ says, sorry, couldn't say something earlier. Was on a work call. Well, work be like that sometimes, huh? Just get you on the call, keep you off. All right, let's see who we've got. Says, why is your yellow so smooth compared to mine, man? Well, if you are interested, since we've hit this part of the stream, okay. So down below, we got a couple things going on here. Number one, you all may be aware that I have an Instagram. You know, I've been working on that Insta for a little while. If anybody in here has not been in there, enjoy it. That is, Ray says, I can't get Twitch to come up on my PC. It's weird. Oh no. Oh no. But as far as Too Many Sprues goes, there's something in here. It's going to be important. Right here, we have little YouTube action. And if you wanted to, you could go to my YouTube and one of I just uploaded some VODs. There's nothing special going on just yet. We're going to deal with that much more here in the next week or so. But I have a painting Imperial Fists tutorial on there that you might find useful if you'd like. Yes, Ray. I'm on Instagram. We got a YouTube channel coming together. It's all the rage. In fact, I might even say all the cool kids are doing it. Worry not. No, Ray, there's no Chaturbate. There's no OnlyFans. Yet. None of that yet. But, we've also got a Patreon. All the wonderful support has led to beautiful things like this camera Well, that, at least sparked the conversation. So we got tour pretty much based up. He's going to go out directly. We did some freehand today. We linked up the Patreon, which is where this thing gets brought by viewers like you. Jimmy Spruce says, cool, we'll have a look. You should. I know it's long. It would probably make more sense now that I have some more equipment to actually make a dedicated, just snap to it. Here's the steps. That might... We'll put it on the list. We'll get it done. We have to wrap up this little guy here, and then my desk will be a lot cleaner. Like a lot. Ooh, that one's gonna bug me. Won't be able to. Oh, thank you, Ray. Won't be able to. Look, if I take a picture of this, I won't be able to post it. I'll be so mad. But yeah, Ray, this is the last thing I've got to get off my mind. Then we're going to dive much more deeply into the purples. I started refining a few of the talons, but she is actually in the other room to get pictures taken. We'll get Drycha out here in a second. I figured out what we're gonna do with these. I have this set up. I know what's gonna happen for her crown. We have a plan. Motor City Ray. You pretend like you're not sassy, but you're sassy. You will have her before... Well, May won't be too far gone. We'll get... I think she's getting started here. Not started, but more than base coats starting tomorrow. Oh, Ray. So if you have time, tune in tomorrow. She'll be getting some work done. Yeah, this is the longest goodbye ever. Check out the YouTube. There will be content coming to that very soon. And yeah, thank you so much. Wrapping up these commissions. And in Ray's part, getting this monstrous piece underway more completely. You can see she started. But let's see who we can go pass this party off to. Who's online? Does anybody know if Mike's wrapping up soon or if he's going to be on for a while? Let's go see Mike if we can. Yeah, Ray, I'm sorry that you're having some PC drama. We got some stuff to sort out with the camera, but we'll get it squared away. Spruce, thank you so much for coming in and chatting. Inks the Kitsune, as always. We got so many beautiful things. We got a few follows today. That was nice. Glass Joe, Crafty Sloth coming in with the host. Developed coming in with a follow. Sprue hit me with that host. It's been a good few weeks. All right, everybody, we're gonna go see Motor City Ray. I know you got those good emotes. Spruce, I know you got the good emotes. We're gonna go see Mike Disney. Spam him. Let him know what it is. I got to get out the door. Don't you worry about that door, Ray. Yeah, it's back there. All right, let's go see Mike.